TDK Radio. DJ Mad
Hey,
Butch in you.
Hey, what's good? What's good?
What's good? Is this Eli?
This is Eli, bro. How you doing, man?
Peace, peace, peace. Okay, people who's tuning in right now, let me cut my news off for me. I was just on the air, just trying to give a little news. We got Eli Harris now on the air. We're getting ready to do this exclusive interview with you, huh, fam?
Yeah, man, it's good to be on air with you, bro. Been a fan of your work for a minute.
Indeed. It's been a minute. I think last time I seen you was last year about this time, under some situations. Your brother passed. We was just playing some of his beats a few minutes ago. May he rest in peace. But that was the last time I seen you, King.
Yeah, man, that was crazy because I had just talked to E a few days before that happened, and he was actually working on some beats for the project that we're working on now. So we were going through a couple of things in regards to the style that I wanted, and we were supposed to get together that weekend to go through a couple of things, and then unfortunately, the Lord brought him home.
Indeed, family. A lot of people don't know. When we got right now the radio show, the Street Hype Mix Show, but when we had the Street Hype TV show, your brother, he produced like over, I say about 60 to 70% of the beats, next to my brother. And I had Bees and Nate and a couple of others, but whenever I go over there, man, he always had beats, man, like, yo, this is for your show, for the Street Hype Entertainment Show, fam.
Yeah, he was always doing things for people, man. And it wasn't even about the money for him. He just really enjoyed doing music and being a blessing to other people. So, he's definitely missed.
Indeed, man, indeed. Well, his legacy going to live on, man. It seemed like you got a legacy going on here as well, man. I was told about you maybe, by him maybe like, in 2010 or something like that. It was a while back, man. He kept telling me he had a brother that was in the movie business. Now, what's going on with you in this movie business stuff, man? Kind of tell the world about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, man, of course, I started off with acting, and I did theater when I was younger, and, I went into the military. When I got out the military, I moved to Detroit, and I actually got my first gig on a music video with Raphael Sadiq and this group called Willie Max. And unfortunately, the video never came out, but, from that point on, I've just been on my grind.
So you started, it says here, at the age of 6, huh? You was like a little lad or something. I mean, tell us a little bit about, being 6 years old and getting into the acting business or theater or whatever.
Well, my parents, man, because, I was very hyper. My attention was all over the place, and my parents wanted to get me involved in things that would help me to be able to focus better. And, I was always running around, acting out different characters and doing different things like that. And so my parents decided to get me involved into theater. And so I would do plays for church. When I got a little bit older, I did things for the Cherry Tree Players, which was in Lynchburg. I did some stuff in high school at, Pioneer Baby Heritage High School. And so, yeah, that's what my parents got me into. It was basically to help me to focus. Instead of, doing real hard discipline all the time or punishing me, they decided to, show me how to use my energy for other things.
It's very interesting that you said that, family. Do you think that's what's going on with a lot of youth today? In your personal opinion, that they don't have no way to channel this energy they have, all hyper, so they put them on adrenaline and all these hyperactive drugs to calm them down. But really, they very creative. They just need something positive to do, man. What do you think about that, man?
I want to be honest with you, man. Initially, they tried to put me on Ritalin and then Mellaril. And I found that when they put me on Mellaril, it made me incredibly depressed, And I told my mom, this isn't working for me. And so, she that's when she decided to try other avenues. So, personally, man, I think that, a lot of the legal drugs out here is as bad, if not worse, than what they consider to be illegal drugs. So I think that instead of trying to dope your kids up, that you should try to get them involved in things because a lot of these kids who are lacking focus and are hyper, they're incredibly creative. They're very intelligent. They just don't know how to express it. And so it's our job as parents and as adults to to guide our kids and to gear them in the right direction so we can find out exactly what it is that they will be exceptional at.
I agree with you, family. I agree with you. I think that what helped me out was the hip hop thing. You know what I'm saying? The DJing, the rapping, the breakdancing, because I had to practice, because I knew I had to battle somebody. You know, so I had to keep my skills up. So you don't have a lot of time, to run the streets as much. But of course, that's another story.
That's crazy, man, that you bring that up. I just want to say real quick, I didn't even know you breakdance and you b-boyed like that until you heard about the audition that I was doing for B-Style. And I think you a beat to b-boy too. And I was like, dang, this dude got moves. I thought you was just on the music tip. I didn't know that you had moves like that.
Oh, well, appreciate it, man. Yeah, I still practice and get it in, here and there. I use it for mainly now for meditation purposes and stuff like that. I guess the more years you do anything, you start to understand your craft more, you know what I mean? And I just started off with all 4 elements, the DJing. Well, my first thing was dancing, and then I went into the DJing element. I already did drawing because my mother an artist, and then I went into what we into today, you know what I mean? But yeah, definitely, man. Let's see here. In 2003, you say you went to the military, right? You got out the military, and you took a break from the acting career. What happened during that period there? Because said in 2003 you came back on the scene. What's good?
No, well, what it is that life happened, man. I was in the military in '96. I went in '96, and it was cool, I guess. It's one of those things where it's for some people and it's not for others. And I'm just one of those people where I believe that you have to earn respect. It's not necessarily what you wear in your collar. So military just wasn't really for me. And then, of course, life happened and ended up, getting married, having kids and stuff. And so, real life took precedence over the dream at that moment. Fortunately, I was able, my wife supported me, my dream, and believed in it. And so she told me just to go ahead and pursue it. So I think it's really good to have someone that's strong behind you that can support you in following your dream. And I think, with a lot of people that I run into in this business, they don't have that support. And it's unfortunate because quite a few people I meet are unbelievably talented. And, they'll either have a jealous significant other or, they have someone that's constantly beating them down because they're not bringing in money like they want to. And a lot of people really don't understand the work that it takes to get to that level to where you are starting to generate some type of income to where you can substantiate yourself.
I agree with you, family. I ain't personally been in a relationship almost 2 years or more, and I kind of agree with you. Sometimes, especially as an artist, being creative and stuff, you kind of need someone to turn to and maybe just get a hug from. You know what I mean?
It's one of the hardest things, Butch. It's really one of the hardest things because a lot of people look at this stuff as like, oh, it's wishful thinking or it's a pipe dream or whatever. And, not really realizing that, this is something that people can get into. It's just that you have to be really diligent and you have to work really hard at it. The stuff that you see on TV is basically a grand illusion. Those things, it takes years to get to that point. It takes years for projects to get off the table, and it takes time being able to get into those doors to where you can act. I started off as a background actor for my first couple of years. I did independent films. I did little documentaries on TV and stuff. So it took, me doing that and connecting with the right people before I started actually getting roles where I started getting checks and residuals coming in.
So
and a lot of people don't want to start at the ground floor. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't want to start off as being some dude that's just walking in the background.
Right. Everybody thinks, even in the music business, you know what I mean? I've been pretty much in it for like 30-some years. I mainly done a lot of stuff within the Blue Ridge mountain region. I had my son tell me about, he was talking about I wasn't really successful. But I feel that success, I told him, my son, success is up to that personal individual. Success also means succeeding. So if that person has set certain goals and they accomplish it, regardless if they, did a million people know or this 10 people know. I feel they have succeeded at that point. What do you think about that? I hear you say something about, you didn't give up, even though, you had your moments, trials and tribulations, but you still strive. What do you have to say to them people about that? You know what I mean?
I would say continue not to give up. I used to say that, man, I don't want to be Morgan Freeman before I break through in this industry because I can't remember a time when Morgan Freeman was young. When I first started driving Miss Daisy as a kid, he was old then. So I'm like, I guess it's different for different people. And so, just because you're not there at a certain age doesn't mean that you're not going to get there. I do have a belief that there has to be consistent progress to some degree. I think that if you find yourself stuck and spinning your wheels, then, either you need to find what you need to do to get more vigor, to reinvigorate yourself the way you start progressing again. Either that or maybe it's just not for you. I think it just depends on that person's passion, desire. Like I know for me, there were a couple times where I felt like, man, I ain't getting nothing right now, so I might as well just go ahead and drop this thing and, see what else I could do. But I kind of felt like how Chris Rock felt and New Jack City. Like, it just keeps calling me, like it just keeps calling. And no matter how much I try to walk away, it's like the business was right there and it's in me. So it's like I couldn't give up. And I think that's how you know and how you persevere is that it's inside of you. And it's like a part of you. It's not even something that you really so much as want to do per se, but it's a part of who you are.
I agree with you. I've been doing this thing for so long. It's not fully, to me, about the money. Right now, I would love to, get some gigs and get a little bread, you know what I mean? Because you got to survive and pay your bills. But, yeah, definitely, it's about that strive and love for it. Now, you being in what you've been in the movie business, do you feel a lot of people are in it for the love, or you got a lot more people thinking of being a star and making this big money and stuff, like in the rap business?
I think it's 50-50. There's a lot of people that I have worked with and people that I work with now that just absolutely love the business because they wouldn't put up with the shit that they put up with if they didn't. And then there's some people who you can tell they're not really in it because they love it, but because it was something they were either gifted into or, someone saw them walking on the street like, yo, you look good, let me put you in this film. And it's not really a whole lot of appreciation there. Like, I think one of the things that I've learned is that the people who really love the business are humble and they know how to treat people. They're not disrespectful. They don't have big egos. One of the people, and she's one of the producers of my project, a freestyle film, is Deidre Tate. And, she's one of the people who founded Flavor Unit, worked with Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature. This woman is huge in the business. She's been in the game for decades. And I had a chance to do a project with her a few years back. And ironically, I didn't even know that I had auditioned for something that she was the producer of for BET with Reginald Hudlin, with a pilot called Wifey. But I ended up running across Deidre again because I did this film in Jersey called Zoo, which had to do with the Dent brothers. And Deidre had to be one of the most down-to-earth people that you would meet, period. Very approachable. Just, despite the fact that she works with all these big people all the time and that she's established in the business like that, you wouldn't know it. And so to me, people like that are the ones who absolutely love the business because she could have an ego if she wanted to. But she doesn't. And I found that most of the people who are established in the business like that and absolutely love it, Blair Underwood's the same way. When I got to meet him, and we talked for a while, and Blair is probably one of the most down-to-earth people, too. So Matt Damon's another one. Alicia Keys is another one. A lot of these people who absolutely love what they do, Mos Def, too. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Mos Def is probably one of the most down-to-earth people, too, that I've worked with.
Indeed.
And all these people, they have no ego at all. The ones that I think are in it for the money and for the adoration or whatever, they're stuck on themselves. They're big-headed about things, and they're difficult to deal with. So, in all honesty, it's 50-50.
So you're saying that it's the ego thing, the I, me type of thing going on with that as well. I like that, family. Man, you mentioned the movie Zoo. You had a movie, the Nanny Diaries you was in, the Sopranos was you in, and the FBI Files, 16
Mm-hmm.
Blocks, The Wire, The Monk, uh, Law and Order. You was in the TV show as well, right? And Sex in the City and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, tell us about what's the difference between I guess TV shows and the actual movies. I mean, what's up with that? I mean, is it more difficult as far as guess preparing yourself for a movie versus the TV shows that you got to do weekly, or what? How they think go?
You know what? I think it just depends on what you prefer. Because for film, you're working on it for a set amount of time, and then that project is done. With TV, especially if you're recurring, you're consistently getting a paycheck because you're in a series. As far as the preparation for it, for me, it's the same. It's still the same amount of dedication, the same amount of study, rehearsing my lines. And I'm a bit of a method actor, so when I get a role, I try to become that character. So if I'm playing, a drug dealer, I'm going to hang with people that actually live that life so I could pick up on their persona.
You wasn't worried about no indictments or nothing, family?
Say that again?
I said you wasn't worried about no indictments or nothing, being around the wrong folks?
No.
That's what's
No,
up,
not at
fam.
all. And you know what? It's a valuable learning experience. That's one of the beauty, one of the things that I enjoy about what I do is being able to learn different aspects of people's lifestyle. And that's why I kind of trip sometimes when I see how people glorify, the drug lifestyle and stuff like that. With some of the people that I've met that's in that lifestyle, they don't glorify it.
Indeed.
It's one of those things with them where it's like, I'm doing what I do so I can get out of this lifestyle so that my kids don't have to be around this stuff.
Indeed. I have to agree with you on that. Because I kind of spoke on that one of the interviews a couple of weeks ago. We kind of spoke briefly on that about a lot of people glorifying the drug business, but it's really, I guess, in this days and time, the kids are picking up on it. I guess from
A
the
lot of
rap
suburban
videos.
kids, too.
Huh?
It's a lot of suburban kids.
Indeed. Because if you actually live in the hood, I mean, the stuff that they put out on us, because I live in the hood. I still live in the hood, and I see how we get treated, even when we go to court, it's like where they live in a community that's, this, that, and the third, and we get convicted just for being in the community, and it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something that you don't really want to glorify, and of course, if you're what they call a true gangster or true G, you're going to be silent. You ain't going to walk around and really flash because that's going to bring heat to you.
Absolutely.
Now, you were saying, now, when you play a character, because we kind of spoke on Tupac mom a little bit, may she rest in peace, and Tupac. I remember, I think it was the movie Juice, and they were saying, I remember seeing an interview or something to where he got so much into the character that this was like a changing point for him. Now, you being an actor and stuff, you just mentioned about how you had to hang around, certain individuals and stuff to play your character correctly. Is it that each character that you get assigned to, you have to become that person, or how does that really work for an actor?
For me, yeah, I do. And that's why there are certain roles that I won't play. There are certain roles that I just won't take on at all. And it's just personal preference. And there's only really a handful of roles that I refuse to do just because of my belief,
How about
So,
kissing other men and stuff they got catch doing, man? Wearing dresses and stuff.
That's one of the things that I refuse to do. And, again, I don't judge anybody that does that because,
Right.
God made us all free will thinking people. And, what a person chooses to do is what they choose to do and they elect to do.
Right.
For me, that's not something that I'm comfortable with. That's not really a lifestyle that I really want to get engrossed with. So those are the things that I stay away from. But again, I don't judge anyone that does because for some people, it's fine.
Right.
And that's their business. And some people are, damn entertaining doing it. But it's just not for me.
Right, I understand that. So it is a process of of you actually like? Now, how about when you do like a murderer scene? Do you actually go talk to the murderer that, say, if you're doing a biography or something, or how did that work, man? I mean, how you gotta get your mind state, fam?
When I did a project that I produced a few years ago called Jerusalem, and one of the people that was involved with the project was a DA, and so I would go with them to court, to actual court cases, and there was this one case that she was dealing with a dude that was a murderer, and the guy agreed to have me, in the room while she talked with him, and I got to pick his brain a little bit, and some of the things, and this is just the God's honest truth for me. Not every person that does that really intends to do it, but it's just the mindset that they're in at that moment. Like with a crime of passion, you're not really thinking straight when certain things happen, when you do things. And there's a sense of remorse. And some people are just malicious and don't give a damn. Right. But this one particular individual, is kind of like, dude, I bet if you had another chance, you wouldn't have done what you did. And some people, they just get caught up in the situation that they're in, and they just unfortunately make choices that are detrimental to their future.
Got you.
So in talking to him, and I think, when you bring up the murder aspect, I guess it depends on the individual you're talking to, because you could be talking to somebody who really did not mean to do what they did, but it just happened. And, whether if you meant to do it or not, it doesn't change the fact that the person is dead. Being sorry doesn't bring that person back. But you can kind of, to some degree, understand where they were at mentally when that situation happened.
Now, let's go back to your home place. Now you're born in Lynchburg, Virginia. That's where we at right now, broadcasting. Here, you hear a lot of different things. You got to move out of town, and stuff like that, because this ain't gonna make it here. Stuff like that. What is your opinion and view of that, as far as Lynchburg, or no matter where you live at, as far as pursuing your dreams and stuff of that nature?
As far as Lynchburg is concerned, Lynchburg is just not really a place where you can be to do things creatively. Like if you really want to aspire to be an actor, an actress, or, it's just not that type of location to where it's beneficial for that. And that's not talking ill of my hometown, because I love Lynchburg. I always represent Lynchburg. I'm not one of these people who are on Facebook or wherever and say that I'm from, New York, or I'm from Bmore or whatever. I represent my hometown because Lynchburg helped shape me into the man that I am today. Lynchburg is actually the place that motivated me to be the person I am, because I did not want to be so content and get stuck in the Lynchburg grind.
So you born
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just want to ask you, was you born in Lynchburg or the surrounding counties?
I was born in Lynchburg.
Okay. What part of town was you from?
Winston Ridge Road off of Florida Avenue. I grew up on Peachtree Drive, so if you know what Winston Ridge Road is, that general area.
Yes, sir.
Near Greenfield and all of that. The project.
What they used to call it? It used to be a little town. I can't think of it right now. But it used to be some town. I can't think of it, right up in that area. Okay, I see where you. So you White Rock area, Greenfield area, all over in that area. Got you. Okay, I'm sorry, man. So you saying even though you from them type of areas, as years went by, they considered high crime areas and stuff like that. Even though you from a city that, I agree with you, fam. I've been trying for I don't know how many years, man.
Well, and to elaborate on what you said. I think that in order to achieve greatness, you have to leave from home. Whether if you're a Bible believer or not, everyone left home to achieve greatness. So I think that, if you stay home, if you stay around what's familiar, you'll not really know what it's like to fail and to get that strength on your own. So you have to be able to venture out. In order to find out who you really are, because otherwise you'll stay around the same people who's gassing you up. And you're just going to remain local. And that's no disrespect at all to anybody.
Right.
But if you want to achieve greatness, you have to be around great people. You have to be around great things. You have to be around those elements. That is where you're trying to be. One of the things that I told my daughter was that, be careful who you call friends. Not everybody's a friend. A lot of people are associates. Your friends and those people in your circle should be where you're trying to get, not where you are or beneath you.
I agree with you. It was that saying, if you want to be a millionaire, you got to hang with millionaires or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel you. Yeah, definitely. So basically, we saying here, with that said, we're looking at social groups. We're looking at finding the proper social groups that's within your field of work or love or field. And that's how you pretty much prosper, you saying, being around the like minds?
Yeah, and you'll find that when you start to break away from familiar things, you're not going to be liked very much. You're going to be talked about, all kinds of things said about you. And a lot of that is because those individuals are jealous. It's a jealousy issue because they see that you're trying to do something. They want to keep you where they are. So for me, and this has been me for a while, I don't care what people say about me, never have. So if somebody thinks, a certain way about me that certainly is not true, it doesn't bother me one or the other. I know who I am. I'm secure in who I am, and those people who are in my circle and who I deal with know how I am and know who I am. And there's many great things that I've done that I never speak of and probably will never speak of because I don't do things for recognition.
Right. I like the way you said it because I had an incident. I come to find out just last year. I've been trying for years to get a gig around here at a couple of places, but I'm not going to mention the place. And to make a long story short, they had hired me for the gig, the DJ, but then they called me back a week later and pretty much said and canceled me out. And so I come to find out, I say 3 or 4 months later, that the reason they canceled me out because somebody had spread a rumor on me, talking about I have a wife, I'm married, and I beat my wife, and I'm crazy, so you don't want to hire me in your establishment because, I cause drama and stuff. So I see what you're saying on that as far as, people jealous or they definitely see you making certain moves or
and you know what?
whatever
And you know
the
what,
case
Butch? And I hate to cut you off on that. To me, that's real cowardly behavior. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm a very straightforward and upfront person. And for people to say things like that about somebody, it's just really foul. Because I'm like, if you're going to say something like that, put a name to it, put a face to it. Say something to me about it if you think I'm that way. But don't harm my livelihood, my livelihood.
Indeed, it affects you. And I was wondering why for years around, certain places I try to book or get do certain functions, get canceled out and carrying on. So, I agree with you on the rumor thing. So you saying it, and I'm like you right now. It's something that's a calling in me saying, yo, you got to move. You have to move. In order for you to spread these wings, for people to accept what the different things you have going on, you have to move. So you saying in your hometown is not always an acceptable place for what you're doing?
Say that again, brother?
So you saying your hometown is not an acceptable place all the time for what you're doing? In your opinion?
No, I don't believe that it is. But I think, staying at home for some people, it works for them. There's some people who have family businesses. I'm going to be honest with you. If I would have gotten a job at BMW, my ass would have been there still. I probably would have stayed there because that's one of those jobs that you get that you stay until you retire. So, I think there are some people who are there, and it's fine. It just really depends on the individual. And not everybody is still in Lynchburg for the same reason. I know people that are still there because of family, because they have sick people in their family. Their parents are ill. So it's not really so much by choice they're there, but they're there because they're helping somebody. Right. And then there's some people who's just fine with, the day-to-day Lynchburg grind, and that's good enough for them. So it just really depends on what you want to try to do. If you're trying to do something creative and from the art, in all honesty, Lynchburg just isn't the place. It just isn't.
I agree. And one of the reasons I came back was originally because of family members. And still is, looking at the family and stuff like that, making sure they're okay. And then I had a couple of deaths. So Yeah, I agree with you. That's one of the reasons I even ended up back here. Now, you got a nickname called Silk Soul. What's up with that, fam? Talk to the people.
Got that from Frankie Beverly, man. I'm a huge Frankie Beverly Maze fan, and the song he had Silky Soul Singer on the Silky Soul album, which was a tribute to Marvin Gaye, and I always had people tell me my voice is like silk and different things like that. So I adopted the name mainly because of Frankie Beverly.
Okay, okay. You ain't no smooth player or nothing like that. You said you were man. We
Nah,
can't have that, fam.
nah, nothing like that, bro.
That's what's up, fam. Now, now also you make movies. You got a new
Yeah.
movie out, right? Did you
No,
work
well,
on?
we're working on the project. We're working on this breakdance film called B-Style, and it's really a throwback film, and we're going to have some pretty interesting people attached to it. Some people I can't really say right now just because we're still in contractual phase with them. But the people that are involved, we do have them listed up on IMDb, and we'll be making announcements once contract gets finalized. But I will say that, we have talked with Genuine, and he's read the script, absolutely loves the script, wants to come on as a producer and as well as a character. They're talking to legendary Shabba-Doo, and I've been dealing with Shab for 10 years, from Breaking 1 and 2.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I initially wrote this script as Breaking 3, didn't work out. MGM didn't want to bring the franchise back, so I created my own franchise. And, that's how I met Shabba-Doo. So it's 10 years. 2006 is when I first met him. And he's been down with the project ever since.
He still breakdancing?
Oh, yeah. Jobs, oh, my God. For dude's age, man, dude still gets it in. It's ridiculous. I mean, this dude still tours, still holds workshops. He really gets it in. And he's one of the most down-to-earth people you've talked to, too. In fact, Shab and I talk almost all the time. We haven't talked in the past couple of weeks just because he's had some things going on, family-wise and whatnot. But he's a real down-to-earth dude. And he's a very upfront person as well.
Word.
I had a chance to talk with Genuine about a month ago in regards to the project. Another down-to-earth, but real good dude. He and I are a lot alike because he's also a person who stays home, doesn't go out and get into, a bunch of foolishness. He's just a real, a real good dude.
Okay, that's what's good then, family. So you saying you got a movie called B-Styles. You like to elaborate on it briefly as far as what it's going to be consistent of, or what's good with that?
Yeah, B-Style is really a coming-of-age story, and it's one of those projects that I wrote that's dear to me. Now, I can't really dance all that good, I'm going to be honest with you, but I've always been a big fan of breakdancing. And so the story basically deals with this troubled teen whose mother died from a heroin overdose, and he gets put into the system. And the counselor in the group home that he's in called Opportunity House, that's a reference to the Op House in Lynchburg that was a group home for boys. Right. Was a dance dancer back in his day, and he takes this guy that hits the kid on his wing because he sees that he has so much potential. It's just that he's so filled with anger, and so dancing is basically his outlet. And so he deals with bullying. He deals with, because the school that he goes to is primarily full of rich kids. And so there's this other dance protege there who's magnificent. And he's always at odds with this kid because this guy is filthy rich and loaded. He wins all the dance competitions. He's the girl. But he's still somehow intimidated by Beck, who is the lead character. Gotcha. And so, this is a story where you learn how to deal with bullying. You learn how to be self-assured. You learn how to not think about what other people think of you, but know who you are and be okay with who you are. And you take whatever negative energy there is and you turn it to a positive and to your benefit.
I like that, family. Now, you mentioned something about bullying. Now, what do you think about the bullying law, man? I mean, I know when I was growing up in school, I mean, you
I
might
have a
get your
problem with
lunch
it.
took in, and you know, you might get to get in a little squab here and there. But it was just part of growing up. But nowadays, I mean, you can't even look at a cat wrong, and they calling the cops on you. What do you think about
I personally, I have an issue with it just because I feel like everybody is so damn sensitive now.
that? Right.
I feel like sometimes I don't know what to say to certain people without it being blown completely out of context.
Indeed.
Who didn't get picked on? I got picked on a lot because of my lip. I got picked on a lot because my adopted parents were old people. You know, I didn't know anyone who didn't get picked on, but we went through that, you know, and it made us stronger. You know, people got into fights. I got into fights. Plenty of people I know got into fights, you know, and you live to see another day. And oftentimes you become cool with the people who ask you to beat your ass.
Indeed.
So,
Indeed.
I'm dug out sometimes because I read these stories about these kids committing suicide because they're getting bullied on Facebook, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, and I talked to my daughter about these things. I said, I don't understand it. There's nothing in life that happens that you can't recover from, regardless of what it is. There's nothing worth your life.
Right.
You know, it takes 18 years to raise an adult, and it takes less than a minute to lose them.
Indeed.
So I think that what really has to happen is that parents need to form a better relationship with their kids instead of trying to be their best friend all the time, instead of trying to, you know, pal up with them. Be a parent to them. You know, I'm my daughter's best friend, but at the same time, I'm her father, and there's a certain line with me you don't cross. You know, there's a certain way you don't talk to me. There's a certain way that you don't look at me. There's certain things I better not even think that you're thinking when you're looking at me.
No, that's right. That's what I be having. I got a male, you know what I mean, a boy. So you definitely.
But I got two boys also.
You know how old are they, fam?
They're 3 and 5.
Oh,
And
okay.
see, that's the thing, man. I don't really put stuff out there like that because you know, I don't want my kids pictures and stuff out there like that. I don't
Right.
trust people on the internet, and I try to keep my home life, you know, very private.
Indeed. Yeah, I was just saying that, you know what I'm saying, I got a mean teen, you know, he's 22 now. I was wondering if they in the teens, they get into the mean teens, man. They start switching up on you, you know what I mean? You got to put them
Yeah.
in your place, you know, and like you said, be firm with them boys. I want a girl. If I ever find a wife or something, I might go for that. You see how that works out.
But that's why I stay in shape, man. That's why I stay working out and try to stay in shape because my boys going to be some big boys. And I have to be able to make sure that, you know, if you come out of pocket, I'm going to have to handle you. You know what I'm saying?
Just don't put it on YouTube or nothing, man. Don't put it on Facebook like that dude did.
Oh, no. And, yo, whatever goes on in my house stays in my house, fam. But, no, you know, to address what you said, I think that there just has to be a real close bond with your kids. You have to be able to talk to them. And don't talk to them like they're ignorant or like they don't know stuff. You know,
right.
like you have to talk to your kids. You know, if you treat your kids like that, they're going to act like that. So you have to treat them with a certain level of respect.
Right.
So that way they feel they can come and talk to you. So if they have a problem at school and somebody's messing with them, they can come to you and say, hey, Dad, you know, this is going on at school. I'm not really feeling comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Daddy's on the case. I'm going to handle that.
Right.
But if you don't have that line of communication with your kids, they're not going to feel like they can come to you, and they're going to try and either talk to somebody else or not talk to anybody at all and handle it themselves.
Right. Or they scared, you know, to talk to you because you might holler and scream and cuss at them and, you know, use certain, you know, aggressive language or whatever, and they be scared to talk to you. I feel you on that, fam.
There's a way to be stern with your kids without being disrespectful. And, you know, sometimes, you know, depending on what they do, it's difficult not to base on them. But even if that happens, it's important to go back to them and let them know, hey, I'm sorry I came at you like that. Like I do that with my kids sometimes, because sometimes, you know, they really take me there. And I have to go back and apologize. And we should never, as parents and as adults, be against apologizing to our kids when we're wrong. Because there are times when we're just wrong.
Right.
There are times when we're doing things about our kids that's not right. There are times that we accuse them of things. There are times that we say things to them that's not right. And in order for them to be responsible adults and to accept responsibility, we have to accept responsibility ourselves. So there's no way I can expect my kid to be responsible if I'm not. You know, it's kind of like how we were taught, it's like, do as I say and not as I do.
Right. Indeed.
That's not right. Because that doesn't even work. Because the kids will end up doing what they see you do.
Right. They're a product of their environment.
Exactly.
I feel
Exactly.
you.
So I think that we have to toughen up our kids at home, and I don't mean toughen up like beat the snot out of them,
Right.
cuss them out, and lay them out. But
Be
we
firm.
have to be firm with them and let them know why we're doing it. Like when I used to physically discipline my kids, there was never a time that I didn't talk to them first to let them know why it's happening. I used to get my tail lit, and sometimes I ain't know what I did. Most of the time I know what I did, but there wasn't really a talk. There might be a talking afterward.
Right.
But I try to make sure that when I deal with my kids, I let them know this is what's going to happen and this is why.
I think one of the worst is when you getting the whooping and they telling you why they whooping you, for every lick.
Hey, that works too. That works too.
Then it seemed like, not too many people gonna fool with you anyway. It seemed like you was featured in the October 2000 issue of the Black Belt magazine. What's good with that, fam? You know how to, break up bones or what's good?
Man, you know what? And I haven't trained. It's sad, and I should be ashamed of myself for this, but I haven't trained in years. I did Hapkido, and it's just been years since I've actually practiced. So it's one of those things that you don't forget, but also it's one of those things that you should stay on top of. My daughter was interested in getting into martial arts because she knew that I did martial arts, and she stayed with it for a while, and she got out of it too. So, yes, I'm a martial artist at heart, but I just don't train like I should. And I have a lot of friends that are martial artists and that are, actively training consistently. So
you still
I
stretching everything, right?
I can still put it on people. I can still fold someone up if need be, but it's just not something that I actively do. And I need to. I really need to.
So, you still stretch and breathe and stuff, do you? I at least got to keep that up, don't you?
Well, now, I'm not saying that I don't work out because I do. I work out, I do cardio. I still stay in shape. You can tell by my pictures. It's just, the martial arts. I just haven't done it in a long time.
Where you ain't kicked a few bags and punched them in a while. I feel you, fam.
Yeah.
I feel you. Now, then you did something with Alicia Keys before, right? Played as a boyfriend in the Nanny Diaries. What was good with that?
Yo, that was a good. It's a good story to go with that one. So I got a call from my agent. It was like on a Saturday, but it's Saturday or Sunday, and agents don't usually call you on the weekends like that. And she was like, "I need you to come up to New York for this audition." And I'm like, "Okay, it must be a pretty important audition for you to call me on the weekend." She's like, "Yeah, it's a film that they're doing called The Nanny Diary for Scarlett Johansson and Alicia Keys, and we want you to come up and audition to play as the role of Lewis, which is Alicia Keys' boyfriend." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Yo, I'll be there." And so I get up there, and it's like me and like 4 other dudes, and this van comes and picks us up and takes us over to set where Scarlett Johansson is and where Alicia Keys is. And I'm just standing here, when I go and do auditions, I kind of keep to myself because I stay focused.
Right.
So all these other dudes were trying to, climbing around and being flirtations with the different females on set. And a lot of them, I'm not going to front, were, model type dudes. The type of dudes you see on the cover of, them pretty ass magazines.
Right. Pretty boys.
And so I see Alicia comes out the house that she was filming in, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, yo, there's like this glow around her because she was just, she's really beautiful in person. Beautiful smile, the way she carries herself. And so, my agent, okay, just introduce yourself to her. She's going to come over, introduce herself to y'all, just keep it simple. Everybody did everything but keep it simple, like, complimenting her, etc. And when she came over to me, I was like, my name is Eli, nice to meet you. Just kept it simple.
That's it.
And so, and that was it. That was the audition. I thought we were going to do some lines and stuff because I'm like, yo, they didn't even give me any signs or anything. So I'm like, what are we doing here? So it's basically a meet and greet. So what ended up happening is I go back because I was staying in Brooklyn, and my wife calls me that Monday, and she's like, you got the part. And I'm sitting thinking to myself, why are they calling my wife? Like, why didn't y'all call me? So she gave me the information for wardrobe and everything. So I called the wardrobe people, and I had to go over and get fitted up and whatnot. But no, I didn't know what the whole process was until I actually got on set. So I get on set, and there's a whole bunch of paparazzi and stuff out there. And they weren't paying any attention to me. And I mean, I understand that because, I was no big name dude.
Right.
And so I was joking with one of them. I was like, yo, y'all might want to take a picture of me. They was like, oh, yeah? I was like, yeah, go ahead and get some shots of me. And so they just kind of laughed it off. So meanwhile, I go back over to holding, and I got to tell this. So there was this dude in there that I did some extra work with back in the day. And this cat stole something from me. And when I confronted him about it, he tried to act like he didn't do it.
Right.
So I left it at that. So he said, he came up to me like, yo, E, what's up, man? I ain't seen you in a minute, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I said, I'm just here, doing this part in the movie, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, you an extra? I'm like, no, I said, I actually got a role. And he just laughed at me like, yeah, nigga, whatever. So I'm standing there, and the director comes out of the brownstone that we were filming in. He was like, Eli, we need you on set now. And I looked at dude, I'm like, gotta go. And he just stood there, mouth wide open and everything. And so Alicia comes out and she meets me. And, she was complimenting my attire and what I was wearing and whatnot. And so we started going over our lines. The scene went good. So my agent was on set with, he was talking to Alicia's agent and the bodyguard, stuff like that. And she said, you know how you got the part, right? And I was like, yeah, we met and greet, and I guess somebody picked me. She said, no. She said, Alicia picked you. She said, if she saw your picture and you were the most real and authentic person that she met. And so she personally picked you. I was like, yo, that's dope.
Wow. You see, you kept it real. Got that.
She did. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not a person that gets starstruck at all. But working with her, it took some nerves. It took a little bit of nerve, especially, physically touching her and, putting my arm around her and whatnot. It was just, it was a bit different for me just because of Alicia Keys. And what dude doesn't find Alicia Keys attractive?
Yeah, keep your nervous system together. I feel you, fam.
But yeah, she made it real comfortable, real easy. She's like the girl next door. Her personality is really girl next door.
That's good. So you in this movie that came out and everything, the Nanny Diaries? That's out now?
Yeah, that came out a few years back. That was like 2008.
Okay, so people can, check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Now, I'm going to tell you, man, I haven't been to a movie, I don't even know how long. Like I said, I ain't been on a date in at least 3-4 years. I don't even remember. But it's been a minute. But, so what's going on with this, let me see here. You still doing these seminars at colleges and motivational speeches with the children?
I have not done any speaking engagements in a while. I would love to. I think the last thing I did was a few years back at an arts festival for this high school. And I did come down to Lynchburg a few years back also for the James River Cultural Arts Festival with Mrs. Jennifer Petticola.
Yeah.
And that was really an interview, sort of a one-on-one type of thing.
Yeah, you was in a movie called 16 Blocks, and it seems here that you had a chance to get a little extra encouragement from Danny Glover. It seems like. Can you like to speak on that a little bit?
Danny Glover, that was crazy because he's not even in the movie, and so I was preparing for a scene, and I was in the cab. And I turned over, I tried to look to the side, and Danny Glover's like sticking his head to the window. And I was like, Danny Glover? I was like, what the hell are you doing here, man? And he just laughed. And he was like, man, I just stayed down to support the film because Richard Donner was the director for this film. He directed all of the Lethal Weapons. And so I was like, can I talk to you for a minute? And he's like, yeah. So we went over and sat in, in the chair. And I just asked him a bunch of questions, like, how can I get started in my career? What are the steps that I need to take? What do I need to do? And, and he shared a lot of stuff with me. He actually tried to start out in California. California didn't work for him. So he went back to New York and started doing Broadway and stuff like that. And that's when he got discovered. But, man, he's cool as a fan. Who was a fan? No type of security, bodyguards, nothing around him. In fact, when we got through talking, he went hollered at Richard Donner again. He just walked off with the rest of the crowd into, Manhattan.
That's what's good, man. He's feel he's blessed. That's what's good. I mean, you walking, in the light. You don't worry about the darkness around you. What do you think, fam?
I agree with that.
Indeed. Now, what was one of your first movies that you made? Was it Saga Tier?
That's one of the first ones I produced, yeah.
Produced, okay. And then it seemed to hear that you won an award for that. Correct?
No, I didn't win an award for that. I won awards for my film, Henry.
Oh, I see. In 2010, the Mid-Atlantic Black Film Festival Award, right?
Yeah, I won for Best Actor and Best Film.
Okay, then tell us about this, Henry. Is that what's up with that movie? For those who may not have never seen it.
Henry is a very deep film, and I did it as a short film, so I'm going to end up reshooting it anyway. And I just shot it anyway as sort of a promo to get funding for the feature film. But Henry deals with a guy who is married, has 2 kids, another one on the way, and he goes to work for this guy. And it's based on a true story, because this happened to me and like 13 other dudes back when I used to work the 9-to-5 gig. And he goes to work for this guy as a subcontractor, and the guy basically strings him along for months without paying him. And Henry, his mortgage is due. He's months behind on his mortgage. They end up getting on food stamps and WIC. And the wife basically threatens to leave him. And after getting jerked around for so long, he sinks into this depression, and he goes to kill the guy, and then he goes back home to kill his wife and his kids, and then himself.
Sound like Henry had it rough, man.
And this is one of those stories that happens a lot, and
Indeed.
something that a lot of people don't want to talk about as far as depression. Especially in an economy where jobs are scarce and people are living from paycheck to paycheck. The last thing you need is for someone to screw you over on your money. And then when you come home, you got to, if you have a wife that's nagging you and you got kids that need to be fed and you can't feed them, some people just get to that place. Now, the depression part didn't happen to me. That's something that happened on a story that I read about to a guy that happened in California. Now, the situation where the guy didn't get paid for months at a time, that happened to me and 13 other dudes. And one of the guys went to his house and hemmed him up and dragged him around his truck. And so that part came from someone else. So Henry is basically 13 people in one.
Gotcha.
So my purpose in doing that story is to show that there are people who struggle with depression. There are people who feel that the only way out is to take themselves out. And, the people, if we look at it, the people who take out their kids, it's like, man, how in the hell can you get to that point? And based on the story that I read from the guy in California who did that, he did it because he didn't want his children to suffer, that he didn't want his children to have an uncertain future. So to spare them, he did it. That's a crazy way of thinking. But that was his reason for doing it. And some people get to that dark place.
Well, I think a lot of times, you got your honor thing, and then you, in the society too, we are taught that the man is the head of the house, and versus us, we both are heads, and we work together. And then, if one down, then you might have to help the other one out if you're married and stuff until they're able to get back on their feet. Maybe that's for a man, I guess it messes with our ego some, not being able to provide like the society have, I guess, taught us to. What do you think?
I think it's a double-edged sword with that one. And the reason why I say that is I think for us as men, we definitely feel the need to be the alphas of the household.
Right.
Some men are intimidated by women who make more money. I personally have been one of those people because I could use the help. If it takes, the weight off of me. I think the issue is just how society portrays it. and how they go to the degree of emasculating men and making us feel less than, like the woman is wearing the breeches and we're wearing the dress. You know,
Right.
as far as there are a lot of stay-at-home dads. And I don't think people understand just how much work it is to raise your doggone kid. It is a lot of freaking work. You know, when I'm in between gigs, I'm home with my kid, you know, and there's nothing greater. I love being with my kids. I love taking them out. I take them out to the park. You know, I do different things with them each day. I don't sit them in front of the TV all day. I don't let them play video games. They only have a TV in their room because I want their room to be a place of focus. So, like, in my kids' room, they do finger paintings. So they have paintings on their wall. I have math equations on their wall. I have words on their wall because I want them to become familiar with these things.
Right.
You know, my kids are well ahead of their grade level. My 5-year-old does addition and subtraction. He reads like you and I at 5. He was doing it when he was 3. You know, think of my 2-year-old. I mean, my 3-year-old. He does addition. He does subtraction. You know, so I think that it's not so much as it being a problem as it is the way society portrays it. Now, if you're with a woman who is making you feel that way, then there's an issue, because there are women who support. Because in all honesty, in any relationship, we say it's 50-50. Sometimes it's 60-40. Sometimes it's 70-30.
Right.
If your wife is working and you got laid off, that's not your fault. But if you're a person who don't know how to put down a damn game controller, that's on you.
Right. Turn the TV off.
I mean, you can't sit here and expect your woman to encourage you. I mean, to motivate you when you're not motivating yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So to me, I think it's more so the way society portrays it, more so than it is now. Every man does have an ego. But I do also believe that the way society portrays things, and to me, I kind of feel like, and maybe it's just me, I feel like they go the extra mile to emasculate men now. And some women adopt that, and some don't. The women who respect that man doesn't do that because they understand. Right. And they do what they can. Women are the backbone. They really are the backbone of a man. Behind every man, every strong man is a strong woman. A woman, the strong woman is the backbone of that man. Because without her, his accomplishments wouldn't be as great. That's just my personal belief on that one. I know that if I didn't get the support that I had, I would not be able to do what I do, and I wouldn't have been successful at what I do.
I 100% agree with you.
Because there are times when, you know, when I'm doing projects, crazy money's coming in. If you knew the type of money that comes in for doing this stuff, you'd be like, damn. But then you hit periods where you're not getting anything. And she has to supplement and make up that difference. Now, it also helps, and you have to excuse me for saying this, to not be nigger rich, which means that you don't sit, and I use that word, and it's applicable to any race. It's not just our people. Anybody can be that way. And when you're living outside of your means, when you're trying to portray something that you really can't afford,
I got an uncle
trying
like
to get
that.
champagne on a big budget.
Right. I'm with you on that.
So, you know, I think that I honestly believe they go sometimes the extra degree to emasculate society-wise. But I think if you got a good woman with you, it doesn't work that way, and they don't treat you that way. And at the end of the day, it's about how the person you're with is treating you.
I have to agree with you. I know I did the Mr. Mom's role, I call it, you know, where you, like you say, you got more flexible time to where you can stay at home with the kids and stuff like that. However, I didn't 100% get the full support because had times, like you saying, you got someone in the house and you're doing the best you can. And like you said, I know for me, I know I did some things for free. I mean, you might have to do it in your business to get your name out.
I did a lot of independent films for free. I didn't get paid anything. I would travel 2 hours, 3 hours. But when I was living in Lynchburg, I would make a 2-hour, 3-hour trip just to be an extra and stuff. But I was an extra.
So when you got home, when you got home, you got your girl or your wife or whatever all in your ear. You ain't bring home no check. You know what I mean? And all that other craziness. You know, I kind of went through that. and it does bring you down. It then unless you're strong, Luckily, I was strong enough to f you. I ain't worried about that. I'm
Yeah,
doing the
yeah.
best I can. You just got to keep it moving. But if you weak with it, I guess it could definitely tear you down because it tear you down your manhood, make you feel lesser than a person, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you trying to do the best you can. And like
And
you
that's why
said,
you got to be secure with who you are. And that's
exactly.
why just like when people sit here and say, well, I'm with this person because they make me happy, that's BS to me. Because you have to be happy with yourself before you include anybody else in it. If you're leaning on someone else to make you happy, then that person is going to be in control of your emotions. And if you don't know who you are, that means anybody can tell you who you are, and you won't be in control of yourself.
Right.
So as long as you know, hey, I'm doing my best, I'm working my hardest, it doesn't make your day bright to have somebody go at you, but it doesn't affect you as much.
Right. You got to have that self-confidence. I mean, but those who may not, already have self-esteem issues and stuff like that, man, I can see how that could, affect your mind, be
Yeah.
pressure on you to where, I guess like you saying the guy in California, he's like, yo, I just can't take it no more. It's dishonor here. Now, you being in this business, uh, let me ask you this, because you're doing a B-boy movie, right? And
Hmm.
right now, there's a lot of funny business going on. I don't know if you heard about what's going on in the hip hop world right now, but there's a lot of funny business going on. You're talking about homosexuality and stuff like this. I don't know all the details. Have you ran across any of this information?
Um, it's definitely there,
Right. Okay.
and particularly in the upper echelon, it's definitely there. There are certain things with some people that has to be done or suggested um, in order to achieve a certain level of success with some people. That's why there are some people who are so doggone talented, and you're wondering why am I hearing them on the airways? Why are they not bigger than what they are? It's because they chose not to take certain routes.
Mm.
Um, there, people like Mos Def, is probably one of the most conscious rappers.
Right.
There's a reason why he's being treated the way that he's being treated right now. He's not even allowed in the country right now.
Right. Right.
There's a reason Dave Chappelle walked away from $50 million. There's reasons why some of these people do these things. I can honestly say that I've never been approached that way. I've seen it, and I've had some things hinted, so to speak, but I've never been approached that way.
So let me ask you. So you saying, in your opinion, you have being in the industry, the movie business we dealing with, I guess, and the music, because both of them like hand in hand. You saying there are possibly certain rituals and stuff that goes on to reach a different level in this business of entertainment. Is that what you're saying?
I think there's definitely some things that have to be done in order to get to that level. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's not like they hide it. There's a lot of artists that speak about it. There's a lot of stuff in your TV shows. There's a lot of stuff in your cartoons. There's a lot of stuff in your movies that's telling you point blank, these are some of the things to do in order to get to certain places. I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist when it comes to certain things.
Right.
I look at certain things like with Paul Walker. His first movie was The Skull. One of the gifts he was given was a red Porsche. And then his car, whatever happened to his car, is a red Porsche. So there are some things that it's synchronicity with some things. Like I said, for me, I can't personally say because I've never had those things happen to me. I just know what I see.
Right.
I know with some of the people that I've talked to, some of the things that they've told me, with some of the events that they've been to, and some of different gatherings that they've been to. But I can't personally say anything because I've never been to any of those things.
I understand that. Right.
So I have to go off of what everybody else sees. The problem is that most people choose to remain ignorant about it. They don't hide stuff. They really don't. There are certain agendas that they push that to where your TV shows aren't safe anymore, your movies aren't safe, your video games aren't safe, because they're pushing the same doggone agendas in them.
And they're making it normal, making it seem like it's a normal. Because I had
They make it very normal.
Yeah, I had a little discussion earlier. I guess it was on Facebook. We went back and forth on the situation. Dude had commented on the situation. Personally, I had nothing against homosexuality or anything like that. I mean, if that's what you choose to do, I know quite a few homosexual gay people, and I treat them just like anybody else. As long as they don't come to me with the nonsense, we good. We still can be family, so to speak. But as far as trying to participate or be around you constantly, about we was talking about earlier, what crowd you socialize yourself with, I definitely don't prefer to do that. Now, in this industry, you went from the hood to over into Hollywood. What's going on? You in Cali right now, right?
No, I'm not.
No?
I'm East Coast, man. I don't really let people know where I'm at. I don't like for people to be in my business like that.
Oh,
but
I thought you was in Cali.
I'm East Coast. Now, I lived out in Cali for a short span. I stayed out in Torrance, California. I love Torrance, man. Torrance is nice. It's really, really nice. This California wasn't for me. I'm not from the hood. I grew up in a nice area,
Indeed.
So to speak. But I grew up around a lot of it, and to me, there really wasn't a difference. I got along with a lot of people, from that was in different situations than me.
Right.
So
it's all about economical levels, anyway. At the end of the day, as far as
I think anyone that treats somebody different just because of the economic level, something is wrong with them. There's no reason for anyone to look down on someone just because they might have something that you don't. Like, what kind of stuff is that? Now, how do you sit here and look at someone just because you might have something more than them, but you're better than them? I can't. I don't like. I hate when people act like that.
When they do it every day.
You run into a lot of that in this business too. You do. You run into people who look down on you because you don't have certain affiliations that they do.
Or you're not dressing or driving a certain thing.
Yeah, but see, I'm very simple with a lot of stuff. Now, I do have a nice vehicle, but all my stuff is paid for. I don't sit here and I don't believe in car notes. I feel like if I can't buy something straight out, I don't need it. So I do have nice vehicles, but they're paid for. I try to stay within my means, But I've never treated people that way, ever. But I've had people treat me that way.
You got it out here like heavy, you know what I'm saying? If you're not of a certain status level, then they don't give you certain chances and opportunities even, it looks like.
Well, let me tell you a crazy situation. So I go to the grocery store. I go about maybe twice a month. I do bulk shopping because I just don't like going to the store that much. And I'll have maybe 2 carts full of food. And certain people will look at me really funny. And I know why they're looking at me that way because, I'm a brother with 2 carts full of food. So I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? But then when I pull out the cash or whatever, it's just like, oh, the look changes.
Oh, wow. They thinking that you're going to use that EBT card, huh, fam?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to tell you what's messed up about that because there's a bad stigma about that. The thing that I hate about the way the system works is that it's designed to keep people poor. It's like there are people that I know that work their tails off, that work so freaking hard that could really use some government assistance, but they can't get it because they make too much money. So they have to sit here and break the bank every month on paying bills, getting groceries, but then you got somebody who can't keep their legs closed and got carts full of food, or people who can't go out here and be motivated to actually do something, and so they just live off the system. And I've talked about this with people, and I'll talk to my friends who I know that work really hard, and I'm like, man, sometimes, there were times when I was working out, I'm like, man, I wish I could get some government assistance because I'm tired of being broke all the time. But they make it so that you can't be successful. It's like if we assist you, you're gonna have to be broke. money, low money.
Right.
But if you work really hard and you out here busting your tail working 2 or 3 jobs, you can't get no doggone assistance.
Right.
It ain't right.
Design. And not only that, and see, that's why, this is my opinion. That's why a lot of people don't understand. I just call it the hood, but it's hood is short for neighborhood. That they label us and stuff without really knowing or understanding why our families are broke up. Because if you have Section A, and let's say you can't have the father or nobody live with you, and stuff like that, if you do get these certain assistance, and like you say, you got to be completely broke, and you can't have and if you have children, even though they have these children, they're not even allowed to have the father live with them, especially if you got a felony, he can't even be nowhere near the premises. I mean, all those are certain things that goes on that I think a lot of people are not even aware of, and that goes on in our society. What do you think about that? Because like you said earlier, it takes our backbone, especially if you have children. You want the male or the female counterpart, both of them there to help raise this child together. However,
it's like a divide and conquer, man. It's really like a divide and conquer. And it's similar to how our people, unfortunately, are with a lot of things. And it's been this way since the house niggas and the field niggas. It's just a genocidal mentality that's been instilled in our people. And I think for them to allow the system to be that way is just more ways to divide us. To where our children can't have that strong upbringing, because mama can do a very good job, but mama ain't daddy. And there's some things that mama can't do that daddy can do. There's a certain respect that a child gives when daddy comes in their house and says something, as opposed to mama. And that's no disrespect at all to the strong women who are out here raising kids by themselves. But they know it too. They know that there is no replacement for daddy.
Right.
Just like there's no replacement for mama. There are things that daddy can do that won't get the same respect that mama. Mama is nurturing. Mama is caring. Child knows that they can go to their mama and get soothed when need be.
Right, indeed.
And there's something I want to clear up. Because when I said that I grew up in a good area, I wasn't saying that at all sound bougie, because I'm not a bougie dude.
Right.
I'm saying that to say that I don't want to come off like someone who like I'm trying to be something that I'm not.
Right.
Because a lot of people will claim, they from Red Hook or they from this, that, and the third, but you grew up in the suburbs and you went to a private school.
Right.
So and to me, it doesn't matter, because I know some people in the suburbs that will throw down. I know some people from good areas that will bust you up.
Right.
Just like I know some people from the projects who are real timid and won't do anything. So to me, it's only your character.
I mean, my opinion on that, being around all my life, even when the crack era came out and stuff, and that's when the hood became so, quote unquote, more dangerous.
I didn't think it was, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to say, a lot of people, I just feel it's just the imagery that they give the people as far as our community is concerned. You know what I mean? As far as the imagery of a hood, being tough and all that. It's not even that. It's like you were saying earlier. I remember you remember the PA Posse? Was you around with that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That grew up to be 100 or plus strong. You know what I mean? And I happen to be, I would say associated at that time with quite a few. My brother Tadpole, may he rest in peace. My brother Paul Price, you know what I'm saying? May he rest in peace. Yeah, definitely. Just them brothers right there. I can give an example, and I'm not sure it's in any other big city. You know what I mean? We had a bunch of young guys at the time. This is when the crack came in, and they mainly just hung around and made a lot of noise with their music. And they, like you said, they wasted time. They wasn't doing anything creative. And then as time, in the 90s hit, when they had the crack war, the war on drugs even more, that's when we had a lot of disunity starting to break up now. Because like I was saying in another interview, that's when we had a lot of people not trusting each other. because people were stealing from their own grandmother, their own mother. You know what I'm saying? Just to get high at this time. And so
Hmm.
this is where our distrust and disunity really start to elevate at. Not on top of that, you got, like you saying, you have people shooting, and then you got so many people that start getting locked up. And so now you got so many kids is being fatherless, like you were saying, they growing up during a period of not having a father there. So now we in in my opinion, in a situation of state of mind to where a lot of us don't care. We definitely don't. It seems like we don't have no love no more in the hood like we used to. You know what I'm saying? Everybody looking out for each other. I mean, my particular hood is pretty good. Um, but as far as the crime level, it's not as much crime in each community as they make it seem. What makes a high crime area, I come to find out, was that the calls that we do. I mean, like a domestic dispute or something like that. But actual, we'll say like a murder or somebody breaking an entry or something like that. It was very few in a month's time, maybe one or two in a month, you know.
Hmm.
But as far as what made us a high crime, because where I live at, College Hill area, is considered a high crime area.
Yeah.
One of the highest crime areas, they say. So me being part of the neighborhood council at one time, I got a chance to really see the paperwork to see what makes us a high crime area. And what made us a high crime area was that we call for everything. You know, you get to arguing with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, or cat, or anything, we call on them all the time. And so at the end of the month, they calculate how many calls was done in a particular area. So that's what makes you high crime.
You know what I find crazy? And I was thinking about this the other day. You know, Charlie Sheen has always been known as the Hollywood bad boy. You know, he was always, drinking, drugged up, promiscuous, whatever. Hollywood bad boy.
Right.
But they make the image cool. But when it's our people, we're crackheads, drunks, you know what I'm saying, thugs.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, but it's the same thing that he does. Like, why is the image so different? Why is it okay for Cam Newton, who lost the Super Bowl, which was the biggest moment of his life, for him to partially answer stuff and then just leave? And he's spoiled. He's unprofessional, sore loser, but it's okay for Greg Popovich to evade questions, to basically disrespect any announcer that comes to him to ask him questions. But we can accept that because that's Pop, and that's just the way that he is. I don't understand why there's such a double standard. And then we create such a double standard within our own culture, with our own people, and I don't understand it. I don't, because we should be more unified than what we are. And I heard somebody tell me this, and at first I didn't get it, because I'm kind of like, that's kind of, almost blasphemous. But they're like, before Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream, black people were more unified. So it was almost like segregation to some degree was better for our people because our people stuck together more.
You know what? I kind of agree with you on that. I moved when I was in Texas. It's still kind of segregated in the South, deep South, and being around that type of atmosphere, it was different because you know that this person right here ain't really feeling you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you know how to deal with them. Yeah.
Right. And they gonna deal with it. And you got your own side of town to where your police and everything it looks like you, and you don't feel as threatened. You know what I mean? To where, like, for real, my son, you know what I'm saying, 20-some years old, and when he walk at night, I'm scared not because I'm thinking somebody gonna rob him or shoot him, somebody from the neighborhood. I'm worrying about the police jumping out on him and beating him down.
And that's one of the things I talk to some of these kids about is do not give these cops a reason. Please, don't give them a reason, because, they got itchy fingers now. And to be real with you and to be fair about it, it ain't just us, because white people are getting hemmed up too.
Right,
now,
right. The Eminem lookalikes, I call.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of white people that's getting hemmed up. Not as much as we are, but it's happening. And it's almost like it's just open season. So whether if the cop is wrong or not, just don't give him a reason. Don't. Don't throw up all kinds of back talk. Don't sit here and throw hand gestures all up in his face because he's pissing you off. Just let it be. Because at the end of the day, somebody's going to miss you.
Indeed. Like I said, I was running around for a minute in the streets with the kids, and I remember like the gang thing here. I was I guess hitting the streets, and I was recording what was going on, and I remember.
And that's another way to handle it.
Huh?
That's another way to handle it because they make dash cams for us now too. So when I say let it be, that means for that moment, let him have his peace. Let him do as he do.
Well, check this out.
You can handle that stuff when you leave. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, check this out. So I got them on film. They jump out on these kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got them forcing these kids to say that they gang members. They showed them what type of sign, like, with the fingers and stuff to hold up before they can take a picture. And I'm like, what? And I used to go around to the meetings and different things, and that's how I started my program. That's what made me write the first books I got, the basic 4 elements of hip-hop and from kings to gangsters. Because in our community, they was labeling our kids when they get about 11 or 12 years old, when they start hitting middle school, if they dressed a certain way, walk a certain way or whatever, then that was like a target for them. And so I was sharing with the youth, that this is hip-hop, which is going to go back to what I was saying about the B-style thing. And it's just a lot of things going on in the hip-hop industry. And it may even go down, as we've seen a lot of, like, Prince, we've seen a lot of people like this dropping off like flies, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have the hip-hop being attacked in a sense. And we was talking about earlier about the agenda of dumbing us down. And we know that hip-hop is an avenue, or have been an avenue. Let's say that. There have been an avenue for many youths across the world as a way to channel that negative energy we was talking about earlier, or any energy, through rapping, through DJing art, through the graffiti art. And so now they saying that this particular art forms and stuff like that is full of this, that, and the third that's negative. I don't think you should be involved with that. What do you think about that? And if it does do that and it tarnish the name of the hip-hop culture, so to speak, when do you think that kind of affect our next generation that's coming up if they, continue to attack the way they do? Your opinion?
I don't think our hip-hop culture is our hip-hop culture anymore. I think that's why you don't hear conscious rappers anymore. I think that's why you don't hear people like Mos Def on the airwaves, is because everything's been so commercialized. And, unfortunately, our own people sold us out, so to speak. They took the paycheck over standing by the values of what hip-hop was created for. It was a form of expression. It's a form of social consciousness. It's telling the story the way we see it, the way our lives are, the day-to-day lives for us, where we grew up, those things that we've had to encounter. And now everything is booty and hoes. It's about how much money you got. And there's definitely, certain aspects of homosexuality pushed into it too. And that's not to speak negative in regards to homosexuals.
Right. Indeed.
But it's kind of like pushing it on people. Just like a person who's homosexual, they don't want you to push your heterosexualness on them.
Right.
Nobody wants anyone to push what they are. If a Christian and a Muslim doesn't want a Christian person pushing his faith on them. Right. If you're Muslim, you're a Muslim. Let that person be a Muslim. If you're homosexual, you're homosexual. Let that person be a homosexual. They're not bothering you. But it just seems, and I think this is where, and I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly, I think this is where it becomes an issue for people dealing with the homosexual aspect of things, and that they feel it's being pushed on them. It's not that we have a problem with them. Just like homosexual people don't have a problem with heterosexuals, they just don't want it pushed on them. So accept them. This is who I am. Accept it.
Right.
Don't push it. Don't force it. And I think what they do with a lot of stuff is that they push and they force it on you to where there becomes a displeasure for it.
Right.
And a lot of times it gets mistaken as, man, this person is a homophobe. And it's like, no, I'm not, because I have friends that are. I know people who are. And in fact, I find a lot of homosexual people to be some of the most understanding people you'll deal with, because they're not judgmental.
Right.
They're very accepting and understanding of things. It's just you don't want the lifestyle pushed onto you.
Right. You
Just
don't want to
as
see it
they
anyway.
wouldn't want, just as I understand from their view as well, we don't want your lifestyle pushed on us. We just want to be able to have the freedom to be who we are. And I think that the way hip-hop has evolved with some things, there are some agendas that are just getting pushed.
Right.
And I think that some of what hip-hop is supposed to be has been omitted. And you're no longer allowed to express freely without some form of condemnation.
Right. Right.
So I just don't feel it's the true art form anymore. I feel that it's more of a commercial money-making machine than it is to bring up social awareness to things.
You got it. Good points there. I personally like to do an interview. I'm gonna get one going here soon with some cats that's within Zulu, hopefully, and maybe we can chat about that. For we can get some real good opinions about where it's going into. Because from my understanding, we became an actual nation a few years back. So that means now we are capable of making certain politics moves. My bad. And hold certain positions and stuff. And from my understanding, we have been working on these things for quite a few years, and during these times to where we have to make a decision of our leadership or our culture. This may have been a time that they had to attack the culture in a way. You know what I mean? I agree with you. There's a lot of propaganda in it. But at the same time, if we're looking at what we call the Zulu Nation or the hip-hop culture up under that, that's an actual nation now under the UN. And I think a lot of people don't know that yet. And go ahead.
And I want to say, that's why I'm doing B style. These B-boys, popping and locking, breakdancing, that's us. And it's not, Latino people, the Latinos have gotten omitted out of this stuff too, because they're founders of B-boying as well.
Indeed.
And so it's like it's no longer ours. When I sit here and I look at movies like Step Up and, those type of movies, I'm like, the only time I really see our people in there is when we're the antagonist. And I want to be able to make a film that takes us back to our culture and the things that we help form and cultivate. I want to take it back to its roots and what it's about. And B-Style is probably going to be one of the purest dance films that you'll see. Just from the story itself and what we have planned for the dancing. This is, that's why it's called B-Style, the first element of hip-hop.
Got you. So you guys.
So we're not doing gimmicky, commercialized, craftiness. This is stuff that we want to be raw. We want this stuff to be, at its root and what b-boying is all about. But we want to be able to tell a story that's relatable, not something that, way out of left field or just to throw in a plot just for the sake of having a story. I want to be able to have I want to be able to tell a story that today's kids can relate to.
Got you. Yeah,
Because there are a lot of kids who are going through what Jason Beck's Parrish, which is named the character in the film, has gone through. There are a lot of kids who witnessed their parents doing drugs. There are kids whose parents have OD'd from drugs and had to go and live with somebody else. And they got all this pent-up anger.
Indeed. And then, like you said, this art form helped them release it. You know what I mean? And then, use their what's called creative energies, which is very important. I feel that.
Right, and that's what dance is his relief. Now, don't get it twisted, because Beck still gets in the fights. He has that much pent-up anger that he still knuckles up.
Right. That's it. Because
But through his mentor, he learns, focus on your dance. Take that anger, take all that frustration, and put it in these dance moves that I'm teaching you.
So when is this movie? It's gonna come out and hit the theaters, or is this gonna be like a blockbuster movie, whatever they call it?
No, we're still in pre-production, man, and we're still in the pre-production phase for it. Like I said, Deidre Tate is on the project, and when she gets involved with things happen just because of all the people that she knows business-wise. So we're still in the process of finishing, getting contracts signed. We're still in the process of the funding and everything else. So we're still in the pre-production phase as far as getting things to get it filmed. But we are working on a promo right now that we're going to film soon, hopefully. And there's some things that we're still trying to tighten as far as that goes. And we'll be releasing that. My man, DeWanda Hall, who is moderating the Facebook for B-Style. He handles the B-Style website and everything B-Style related. So he's been very faithful with doing the update. Great graphics designer. He designed the poster, and he'll be doing all the graphic designs for the project as well.
Oh, okay.
He's a Lynchburg native. So I do my best to try to get people that are hungry, people who are serious about business and getting things done. I try to involve people from back home as much as I can. It's just few and far between those who have that type of work ethic that he has. And like I said, that's not me downing anybody or talking ill about anybody, but the truth is the truth. Some people are just more hungry and more motivated. Some people are willing to put in work and do what needs to be done to make things happen, more so than others.
Indeed. Some people just got that strive and ambition and vision. You know what I mean?
And that's why I'm talking to you. And that's why I'm talking to you, because I know that you're about business. I know how serious you are about what you do. And anything I can do to be a part of, I'm here.
Well, I appreciate that, family. I need some coaching right now as well, and some extra mentoring to like we was talking about earlier. Being in an environment that I don't have enough like minds. I do have some like minds, but we need enough groups. I need to definitely start chatting with you now. I got your phone number, family. We need to start building, and I need to get around other people that's of like minds. Because my talent is going to waste right now, family, if it don't really be discovered here soon. So I'll be, pushing 50 before I know it,
Yeah. And bro, there's so many creative people in Lynchburg. And I think that's the thing that hurts my heart the most, is there are so many talented people in Lynchburg that it's ridiculous. And a lot of people just sit on it. I don't know if it's because they just don't have the faith to go out and explore it, or if somebody has been putting them down to where they don't have the confidence. But I personally know so many people there that are just unbelievably talented. And I'm like, yo, you just need to go out there and make it happen so people can see that. Like, I know people in Lynchburg that can sing better than most of the people on this doggone radio.
I agree with you, fam. There's a lot of
people
talent
who can
here,
spit bars. I know people in Lynchburg who could spit ridiculous bars, who will blow Lil Wayne and everybody else out of the frame.
Yeah, but there's just like you said, they don't have that certain ambition. They can't really see the vision. I feel that's just my opinion on a lot of them. Or it'd be like you was talking about earlier, to where you have them trials and tribulations come into your life, and so they just go ahead and get a 9-to-5, and just and they don't have that extra support and stuff like that to tell you to go on back out there and pursue your dreams. Like, you may have, and others who may be successful in it. What do you think?
I agree with that. And I mean, and the other portion too, I was gonna say is the other portion are just haters. And I'm like, I've never understood the whole hating mentality. Anyone who's successful and doing good, I cheer anybody on that's doing something positive and that's successful, because that means that I can learn something from you. So if you see someone that's trying to do something and, go against the grain, people used to tease me a whole lot. A lot of people knew I was trying to do acting and stuff when I was a kid, and I used to get clowned for it all the time.
Right.
And, I just kept being me. I just kept doing me. I didn't care what people said about me because I had a goal, and I think that a lot of people just need to get to that point to where it's like, and I don't mean at the point to where it costs your family or anything, but if you're in a position to where you can just go and make things happen, go and make it happen, and to hell what anybody else says. Because you're the one who has to live with you. You're the one who has to. But these people out here that are hating on you and talking about you, they're not paying your bills. They're not putting food on your table. They're not putting clothes on your back. They ain't fueling up your car. So at the end of the day, what they have to say doesn't mean a damn thing.
I agree with you, fam. I remember when I first put out the first mixtapes in the Blue Ridge region back in 94, 95. And when I hit the streets, everybody said, you can't sell nothing here in Lynchburg. This Lynchburg. You can't do it here and so forth. But I still went ahead and did it. And I put a lot of, artists on and stuff. Like I said earlier, I might not have been known by millions of people, but
right.
I was known throughout the region.
And I think that it just depends on, like I said earlier, what it is that you want to do. If you're a person who makes beats, like my brother did, like Eric did, he made beats. He didn't have to move anywhere. This dude could have a studio in his house. He could make beats for anybody from his home in the comfort of his own home. Something like that, you don't have to go anywhere, because it's not like you have to go somewhere and get discovered. You can send beats through the internet. You can send stuff out to people to hear. So, I mean, there are some things where you don't have to relocate. But to do what I do, you have to. Or if you're a person who's spitting bars, I mean, you're going to have to go out.
Or
you're going to have to get in front of those people. Oh, yeah, and DJing. You're going to have to get – that's one of the big things, too. If you're somewhere like in New York and you're a good DJ, dog, that's a boost for your career, because that means people are going to start inviting you to exclusive parties, different events where business people are that will hear your stuff.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nobody's going to come down to Lynchburg and hear you DJ.
Yeah, you're right. I need somebody who's listening, family. Harold, brother, get me in. There's this one gig a month, I'm good. You know what I mean? But
and there's always opportunities. There's always opportunities. Every time I go somewhere in New York, I'm seeing something getting filmed.
Got you. So you
I always run across some daggone celebrity, and you never know that could be your moment.
Indeed. So it's just a matter of relocating and being where their activity is at, pretty much, at the end of the day.
You got to sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. It's a matter of, hey, I need to get out of my comfort zone and do something that's different. Whether if a person is a Bible believer or not, everyone biblically left home. Everyone. There wasn't one person who stayed home. Everyone left, whether it was Abraham, whether if it was David, Jesus, the disciples. It didn't matter. They had to leave home to become something great.
You got a point.
Because when you stay home, you're surrounded by people who will gas you up, and you're surrounded by people who are pretty much at the same level that you're at. So you can't really see the forest for the trees. You have to be able to branch out, experience some failure, experience some disappointment in order to know where your strengths really are.
Yo, that's real. That's real. Yo, Eli, it's almost that time, man. 2 hours or so don't pass by so quick, man. We've been sitting here having a good conversation right here on tdkradio.com. How can people get in touch with you? I mean, how can they see your works? Give people some information before we leave out.
Best way to reach me really is Facebook. I'm not the biggest social media person in the world. I really don't post much at all. But I do take my messages, and I do, converse with people on there. So honestly, Facebook probably the best avenue to reach me. If someone's serious about business or whatever, they can reach me through that. And if I like what they're talking about, then some information may get exchanged and we go from there. As far as my work, a lot of the stuff could be found online.
So what we type in, Eli Harris, or what? What exactly we have to type in to pull up your information?
Eli Harris. Yeah, just Eli Harris. And, if you Google that, it'll bring me up. It'll bring up my stuff.
Okay, so there's no other Eli, right?
You know what? I didn't think there was, but when I created my Facebook page, I realized I was Eli Harris #2 because there's an artist. There's a guy who's an artist and an illustrator who is Eli Harris. But he doesn't come up first. I do.
Okay, you don't got the most views so far. That's what's good. Well, we really appreciate you calling in, man, and joining us for this conversation and interview right here on TDK Radio. It's about that time. They only give me until midnight, man. We probably can go another hour or two. What you think, fam?
Man. And I got a lot of stuff I got to take care of, too, with this project. But I'm very thankful that you reached out to me to do this interview, and I really enjoy politicking with you, man. It's been a blessing. I praise God for that.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I really thank you for taking the time out on your busy schedule and joining us right here at tdkradio.com. Also, you know what I'm saying, well, I hope we can communicate more and have you back on the show once you get B-Styles and your other projects going, and we can talk more.
Absolutely. And I want to tell everybody who did listen, I appreciate y'all listening. I appreciate your support. I pray that the Lord continues to bless you guys. And thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Until next time, we appreciate everybody who tuned in to TDK Radio. And thank you so much, Eli Harris. Y'all make sure y'all check out Eli Harris. He said he on Facebook, y'all, or he's better yet, just Google him. And you can check out all his TV and movies and stuff that he have available for y'all. Until next time, y'all, don't forget until Sunday. Next week is Old School Sundays. Mondays is New School Mondays. And next week we got Fly Life. It's going to be on TALKiN Tuesdays. So tell your friends to tune in right here on tdkradio.com.
I don't know I Shenko representing for DJ Mad Busha. I'm going to set the street at Mix Show. Sundays, Tuesdays, 10 p.m. to midnight. Real music and real conversations. I Shenko set to the fullest. Up full. Do it, Shell it.